Hey, this is Scott.
And this is Rusty.
And we want to tell you about our Patreon page.
We have a couple of tiers to choose from.
No matter which one you choose, circumcision will not be required.
Also, no matter which tier you choose, you will have our begrudging gratitude.
And let's not forget the satisfaction you'll feel supporting two of the great artists of this generation.
In addition, our patrons will have exclusive access to weekly post-show discussions, as well as our latest project, the Libel The Bible Bible.
A modern interpretation of the Bible as translated and written by us.
Keep an eye out for a free preview of the first 4 chapters of Genesis being released weekly, this month through our regular feed.
Visit us at patreon.com/Libel the Bible to sign up.
That's patreon.com/Libel the Bible.
Choose the tier that's right for you. And previously on Libel the Bible.
Old man yelled at clouds.
You mean Moses counseled the generation of Israelites that are about to enter their promised land?
I guess. He drones on about the glory days and all his regrets.
He also names 3 cities that murderers can seek sanctuary in.
Yeah. Then he droned on about the 10 Commandments.
The TLDR version is, if you want to live, do exactly as Yahweh commands.
Jesus Christ.
Not yet, and now, episode 45 of Libel the Bible. What's up, everybody? I'm Scott.
And I'm Rusty.
What are we doing here? What goes on here?
We're recording episode 45 of Libel the Bible.
45? That's a pretty significant number.
Episode 45.
Best President was the 45th one. Maybe this will be the best episode. And coming out swinging.
It was It was funny because when Trump was elected president, like one of my first thoughts was the comedy aspect of, for the rest of time, school children in their textbook, that man's like portrait will be in it, you know? And it was just like funny to think about. And then it was funny to like vindictively think about like he's going to follow Obama like in every school book. Yeah. You know what I mean? And how Obama must feel about that.
Well, you mentioned in one of the earlier episodes that how annoyed Trump probably feels having to look at Obama's face all the time in the White House because he's like...
Because he hates him. No, I get it. No, I would feel, if I was Trump, I would feel great about that because Obama made fun of me. He shit on me in front of everybody at the correspondence dinner.
Yeah.
And then I shock the whole fucking world. I win the election, and now I'm in the White House, and there's a portrait of Obama. Yo, I would be talking to that motherfucker every day, being like, how you like me now?
He probably is. He probably throws like fucking White Castle wrappers at the fucking portrait all the time.
The real question is, what did I do with my glass of water? Oh, I see my glass of water.
Right,
I'm gonna reach over for it. You just ramble on the way you normally do. Although the problem is I won't be talking, so you can't interrupt, so you don't do too well then.
Can we just take a moment of silence while you get that glass of water? Oh, I'm glad that water was close. All right, you're back. That didn't go on. That didn't drag on too long. So, been a busy week, huh? You've been a guy, man. You've been a go-getter this week.
The muse struck. I had a bit of inspiration.
Yep, let's talk about it.
Let's go. Talk about it.
Well, first I want you to say, before we even tell everybody what it's all about, it hasn't gone unnoticed. I was talking to corporate. Your name came up, and they've been very impressed with your attitude lately and your go-getterness and the stuff in which you're doing.
We've been calling ourselves an indie podcast this whole time, and here you are telling everybody like our big secret that we're corporate.
Yeah. Well, listen, I just want you to know, I'm just going to cut right to it, man. It's been decided that you are no longer going to have the title of podcast intern.
Oh, nice. I'm no longer an intern.
You're being onboarded at podcaster level 3.
Wow. And wait, but I have to move up to level 2
then
and
level
then 1.
And then I haven't seen the corporate org chart above that level, so I don't know what's above that.
Wow.
You are a fully paid member. Now the corporation's raking in a lot of money.
This
You're gonna
skit
be a
is
part of
just,
that.
is there an end to this skit?
I wish you'd interrupt me.
Okay.
But congratulations.
So earlier this week, because we started a Patreon, Scott and I had been mulling over like what kinds of things can we add to our Patreon for our patrons. We do want to make it a place that's worth subscribing to and supporting us for. So we already have we put up a weekly wrap-up show recording after each episode. Now we hang out for half an hour. We talk about whatever we might not have covered during the show. So that's already available for our patrons. But now I decided we're going to read the Bible. And then I did one episode where I actually read the Bible. It was an audio book version. Did you even listen to that?
Oh, I did.
You did listen to that.
I was mixed on it. I didn't know if that's maybe one day we do that. We offer a book on tape, so we have an extensive, we have a lot. Listen, we're going to put out so much shit. Some of it's not going to be that good. That could just be some stuff. When we get comfortable and we don't mind just robbing people, we'll put out crap just to fucking make money off it.
So that was the seedling for what would eventually become the idea for the Libel the Bible Bible. All right? So the Libel the Bible Bible. I mean, King James had a version of the Bible.
Yep.
Right? There's I don't know, there's tens of versions of the Bible out there, dozens, perhaps. Hundreds.
Yeah. What's one more?
Why not ours?
There's room in this space for one more.
Why not the Libel the Bible Bible?
And it's just our interpretation of the scripts that have been redone and re-edited and retranslated a million times.
Hallelujah, Scott.
We are within our rights to do this. So don't even get mad at us. If you're one of these traditionalists, don't even get mad that we're doing it.
Yes.
Because every version that came out probably met with some resistance.
Yeah.
From the previous people, that all of a sudden their version is entrenched. 100 years from now, this will be entrenched.
So I've already recorded the first 4 episodes. I've written the first 6 episodes. In the first, Scott will be doing his own episodes in the future. The only reason I did all these episodes is because, again, I came up with the idea earlier this week. And in a bout of creativity and time, I was I recorded, I wrote, I did it, and it didn't take long. To write each script took about a half hour. Then it took about another half hour to punch up the script, right? I wrote the script.
Punch up? What does that mean?
So I wrote a script. And then after I finished writing the script, I went back to the top and I started reading it. Mm-hmm. And I already had the flesh and bones of the ideas of the comedy, but then as I reread it, I changed the wording, I refined it, I guess, punched it up, made it funny, or maybe edited some shit. I tried to be parse with certain words. I thought I got better towards episodes 3 and 4. Mm-hmm. Then I wound up redoing one entirely, deleting it. Good. So this is going to be available for our patrons.
Nice.
But 4 episodes are going to be up for our podcast listeners. There's going to be interruptions in them. And then after that, this will be a
I haven't even been on him yet. Who's interrupted?
So, there's going to be a promo for our Patreon in the middle of those chapter readings.
And our Patreon listeners, obviously,
and by the way, they're
they're going to get ad-free, right? Of course.
I'm sorry, say that? Oh, yes. No, absolutely. The patrons ad-free. Everything is ad-free. Yes, for the patrons ad-free. And by the way, these are produced. There's I've got voices. I've got a Yahweh voice.
Please allow me to comment on this.
Scott hasn't heard Genesis 3 yet, where I do my Adam voice.
That's good. I can't.
Do you want to guess? Why don't you guess what my Adam voice is?
First, I want to recount a couple of things you just said. You said you do the punch up, and you got the flesh and bones. I'm wondering, what if you write an episode and then you go to do the punch up and look at the flesh and bones, and halfway through you notice a rib is missing, and then you look over and there's a female writing a script next to you.
That would be super freaky, Scott.
That'd be fucking awesome. That could have been Halloween content.
Yeah. So my whole life,
Oh boy,
I've been controlled by this entity that I've resisted, but in actuality, that entity has put me there. Yes.
So I'm gonna say I listened to the first time your Genesis 1 version, and I gotta tell you, I don't laugh much at anything Rusty says. Shit was hysterical. Just the booming God voice alone had me fucking in stitches, man. So then I was like, well, he was doing some stuff before the show. I was like, all right, we're going to listen to episode 2. So I listened to episode 2, Genesis 2. Again, hysterical. I went to listen to episode 3. Couldn't hear it because it's on a Patreon paywall, right?
Well, no.
I'm not a paying customer.
Episode 3 will be released on our feed, our RSS podcast feed, Monday. Halloween at 12:01 a.m. on Halloween. So I guess later tonight as we're recording, so by the time you hear this, it'll be out. For our patrons, it's already been out. And then the following Monday, I guess Monday the 7th, let's call it, whatever, November 7th, if it's the 7th or the 8th, one of those days, whichever one is the Monday, will be the 4th, Genesis 4.
I look forward to it.
Genesis 4 is original sin and... Oh, no. Genesis 4 is Cain and fucking Abel. Cain's going to fucking
that should be
murder
interesting.
Abel. So there's some shit happens there.
You mentioned more than once early on that you would
I have a Cain voice, too, by the way.
Awesome.
No, you got to guess. You still haven't guessed my Adam voice.
Adam. It's got to be a cuck voice, right? It's got to be.
Oh, it was 100%. It was like.
Yeah.
No, 100%. I have a serpent voice. I have a Cain voice, and I have a Yahweh voice.
Does the serpent have like a little,
well, that's for me. I did that, but I didn't overdo it. Like
a Gollum type voice.
I want to assume that a serpent was a snake.
We are assuming that. Remember, we actually.
I'm assuming
it's on the vocabulary list.
I think it's more of a difference between like a boar and a pig, like a wild boar. Like used to be somewhere down in its bloodline domesticated pigs, but then like they became boars, and it's like a different species. Like for some reason.
I hope we never become boars, man.
Yeah,
that would suck.
Oh, I see what you're saying. That's a pun, man. That's fine. That's a dad joke. Yeah,
nice. That's what I do.
You know what it is? You're too quick with the dad jokes for me. I'm not as sharp as you are.
That's all right. You're sharp in other ways. But so I want to say I'm excited for you and for the podcast because you've really gotten behind this, and it's good work so far, man.
It's been fun. It's been fun. Writing it and actually rereading it because it's a good refresher on what we've done, and it's just more reinforcement for how ridiculous, I mean, really ridiculous this story is in so many ways.
It's nuts. Yeah. So what else, man? I can't even say what else you've been doing all week because I know what you've been doing all week. So that's what you asked. What have you been doing all week, Scott?
What have you... Oh, happy anniversary, Scott. What have you been doing all week?
Happy anniversary. You're referring to the 10th anniversary of Superstorm Sandy.
Yes, this weekend that we're recording.
Yeah. Good times. Thank you for acknowledging it, but I don't know how to respond to somebody saying happy anniversary.
Yeah. Well,
It's a weird thing.
Yeah.
It's like... Happy anniversary, sorry your family died in the Trade Center,
No, I mean, I know. What can you say, though?
Right.
What can you say?
What can you say?
No, really, what can you say?
Nothing.
No, you got to say something.
You got to
acknowledge 10 years.
You got to say something.
Since a fucking catastrophic event, right? Yeah. So what do you say?
You said what you said, man.
Happy anniversary, man.
There's nothing else you can say, man.
Yeah. You know how I said it.
Yeah, I
know it was fucking bullshit, fucking storm, fucking
I didn't really get all that from that.
Oh, really? You thought it was oh, Scott, happy anniversary. That was the greatest day of my life.
Sucks to be you, sucker. Yeah. So, yeah. We got some time to talk before we go into the Bible, right?
Why not?
Because I got something I want to get off my chest. I was in a pub over the weekend. And I was sitting next to a guy who I've had interactions with before. He's a regular at this pub, right? Older guy, older than me. Like, I'm going to say he's maybe mid-70s. Looks Irish. He's a white guy. I don't know what. Maybe he's Irish. And the news came on the TV about Nancy Pelosi's husband getting attacked with a hammer. I'm sure you've heard this.
Of course.
Right? So I had heard it earlier in the day, and I realized there was more details. Apparently he was there so long, like the police showed up, he was still there. Like, I don't know, he made himself at home, made a sandwich or something. So when this came on, this guy goes, fucking should have killed him. I go, yeah, man, somebody breaks into your house, you should fucking kill him. And he was like, I knew what he was saying.
Of course.
He goes, no, that fucking dick should have been, like, Nancy Pelosi's husband should have been killed. And I was like, what? What? What are you talking about? You know, with all the shit she pulls. I said, oh, okay. Then why are you wishing the husband dead? Like, I'm not following this. Well, he knows he's the husband. He's a part of it, so he should get it too. So I said, okay, you're a fucking psychopath. You're advocating violence based off what some idiots are talking about. Then their very next fucking news article comes on the news. It's about somebody broke into Cardinal Dolan's house or something. Something happened with the Cardinal. So you know what I did? I go, good. Too bad he didn't get fucking killed. This guy turned to me and goes, what'd you just say? I said, too bad Cardinal Dolan, or what is it, Timothy Cardinal Dolan? Like, they don't even get to put the fucking title, by the way. He should have fucking died. What the fuck are you talking about? You can't talk about the Cardinal that way. I'm like, why not? What about, and I made this up completely. What about those 37 fucking priests that just got fucking arrested for diddling little boys in the Archdiocese of New York? I just made it up. Mm-hmm. But it's so possible.
Sure.
He didn't say that.
He doesn't know. He didn't see that.
He
right.
fucking know.
He doesn't keep up, right?
Right. He goes, what's that have to do with the Cardinal? I'm like, he's the boss. Yeah. He's not responsible, but Nancy Pelosi's husband's responsible for her actions.
Yeah. Well, you could say he like moved around like fucking priest and like covered up, cover up
even
like
worse.
The rest of the church, right?
So he literally, I was like, dude, you're a fucking hypocrite. Get the fuck out of here, man. And then he went off to the bathroom mumbling something. Like, I disagree with you? What's next? You're going to fucking hijack a plane and fly it into my fucking house?
All right.
Because I disagree with you?
I'd like to say something.
Yeah, get jumping, man.
Here's the situation, Scott. That guy is being hyperbolic. I think if he was sitting on a panel that would judge like real life situations and be able to control them, I don't think he would have Nancy Pelosi's husband killed. I think in a situation in a bar, he's expressing like his like frustration with just his station, and like this is what he does. Like he uses hyperbole. And what you do is you use that situation to like jump in and like gnaw at like that like, you know, little like piece of skin on the inside of your mouth that you just gotta like flick until like it's raw.
So it's my fault.
It's not your fault, but you're engaging. So the question is like, why are you like, why engage? Like, he's not serious. I don't think he's serious.
Okay, well, I'll tell you this. Maybe he wasn't. Maybe he was yanking my chain too, to some degree.
And I'm sorry. But here's the real reason. I feel at some level, we need like more civility. So what happens is when you challenge him aggressively, he's not gonna back down. I think like you just have to gain the trust of these people by ignoring like their political stances, and then like slowly over time through discourse, when they trust you, like that's how you can like really. I'm just saying.
I get what you're saying.
Otherwise, you're just butting heads. You're nothing more than a mountain goat, just butting heads with another mountain goat.
And if this was somebody I felt was redeemable, or I would like to see him come along in his viewpoints, yeah, that's absolutely a great tact. But I did want to butt heads with the guy because he's saying fucking ridiculous shit out loud. He's advocating violence in a place where alcohol is involved.
Yeah,
like. It wasn't cool, man. And then he might have been yanking my chain because then Jeopardy came on. And I usually hang out in this place until Jeopardy's over. The whole bar gets involved and like shouts out answers. You know, it's fun. So the returning champion was a woman who just based on physical appearance was a lesbian, an out lesbian, with some masculine tendencies. And this dude said, "Yeah, we can start by shooting her." And I went, I'm fucking out of here. I'm fucking out of here. Like, maybe he was yanking my chain at that point.
I mean, look,
I don't know.
He's just a bigot. He's not like a murderer. He's just a bigot.
Like, I'm saying, when you say if he was on a panel or something, the problem is I don't know his history. I don't know what he is. Maybe he was in a position where he hired or fired people in a job. And if he has these bigoted views, like, yo, man, it's not cool, man. These people are in power.
Yeah. Okay.
So, I don't know. Listen, I'm just at the point where maybe I have to find a way to do it less confrontationally, but I cannot sit still and listen to bullshit anymore. Bullshit that hurts people. You want to have a fucking argument about the Mets and the Yankees, the Giants and the Jets? That's not what I'm talking about. Like, it's not enough to be, what they say? It's not enough to not be a racist.
Yeah.
You have to be like an anti-racist. And I'm getting to the point where, as much as these people don't give a fuck how they run their mouths and who's listening, I'm not going to give a fuck about running my mouth. And I'm going to call them out on their shit when I feel it's physically safe for me to do so.
Why do you think that's purposeful?
What's purposeful?
What you're doing. Like, why do you think not holding back and expressing your opinion back to them serves a purpose? What purpose does it serve?
I don't know if it serves any purpose other than he left that night saying that liberal scumbag, snowflake, whatever. Like nothing I said.
So you're trying to agitate them?
No, I wasn't trying to agitate. I was agitated,
right?
And I had to get it out. But it's like, for instance, I drive around with my 80-year-old father.
But what agitated you? His opinion, or
his opinion,
or
and the fact,
or that he felt like just like so free to like scream.
That's probably it. Like, you fucking in a public forum advocating violence. First, over an attack that actually happened, then randomly saying somebody should be shot based on you didn't like the way they looked.
Right.
Shot.
So when I said he's just using hyperbole, he's not really like advocating violence, you're saying because of the setting, because you were in a bar, and because alcohol is involved, it's insightful language that can like stir like the crowd to fucking violence. Like crowd. They will like kill Nancy Pelosi's husband.
Well, this dude showed up in the Pelosi's house and hammered the husband.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't come up with that idea on his own. He hangs out with fucking yahoos like that. He was probably like a more influenceable type of personality.
So this man in the bar is an avatar for like all this other like nonsense that's going on, for the Capitol riot, for like fucking Charlottesville, for like the school shootings, for fucking all this. Like, he's an avatar, and you're fucking like, fuck these fucking like all these events and situations, and he's representative of all that fucking stupidity. So I'm just gonna fucking unload into him.
I didn't unload into him. I just fucking fired back what he fired out.
Right.
And again, my problem is when he says, "Oh, someone should shoot her," the wrong person hears it, and enough people hear it, someone's gonna go act on it. Like this guy that hammered Pelosi's husband. He didn't come up with that idea on his own.
So I'm not transitioning into like our show proper right now, but it's just funny when Yahweh behaves like this guy, and I am in your position and I'm complaining about it. You always like defend Yahweh, and you always come up with a reason why Yahweh is justified, but this guy in the bar, he's a problem.
Yeah.
Just Joe Blow blowing off some steam after work.
Maybe, but what if he was Yahweh? Maybe that guy in the bar was Yahweh.
What if God was
that guy in the fucking
us?
bar advocating violence against somebody he didn't like the looks of?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How you feeling about that now?
I feel fine.
Yeah. When what is the over under for when the next situation like that will occur?
Probably the next red light I stop at.
No, really. Like, would saying 10 days Would that be like a decent, like it could be 9, it could be 11, or would it be like more, like 13 days? What's the over-under, Scott? When's the next one?
I'm thinking 7 days. It doesn't go a week without it happening.
You know what, Scott? I bet you lament the fact that there's no more. What was that thing that you used to put across the steering wheel of your car?
The club.
The club.
Yeah.
Too bad, like, that's not a thing anymore, because you could just, like, take the club, like, walk out to the car, you know, come back with the club, like, bash this fucking, like, Republican's face in, you know, Scott?
Well, I don't know if he was a Republican, and I wasn't going to bash him.
What do you think? He was a Bernie Democrat?
I'm sure he wasn't, but I don't want to jump to conclusions.
Although, like, a Bernie Democrat might be calling for the death of, like, Nancy Pelosi's husband.
Yeah, so, whatever. Nobody should be calling for anybody's death, especially based off some shit you don't even know about. He's like, well, all the insider trading. I was like, I don't know anything about that. And even if she is, why, like, rile against her? Get her voted out. Like, what the fuck? Hit her husband's head with a hammer? Come on.
Man.
I don't like the way you think. I'm going to start a war over it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all terrible, Scott.
January 6th, that was a good fucking example of it. Yeah. So about Yahweh.
You want to talk about Yahweh? We're doing Deuteronomy 6.
Has there been any indication what Deuteronomy is?
And yes. What do you mean?
No, it's a name?
Deuteronomy?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I forgot. I've got a computer in front of me. I guess I can look it up
No,
if
because
you feel some fucking time.
I can't be alone with my thoughts. I'm still withdrawing.
Right. How about this? If I say something like, I hope Hunter Biden gets ass cancer of the brain, will you go off on like a 15-minute rant and then I can look up what Deuteronomy means?
Okay. Let's say somebody said that. I would have the same reaction.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know what?
No, I don't know what.
No, I don't know if I'd have the same reaction because, like, I don't know what all the hate about Hunter Biden is. I mean, apparently, like, there's conspiracies left and right.
He's a drug addict, and Joe Biden really loves him.
That's his son?
Yeah, there's like
he loves his drug addict son?
Bro, there's an audio recording where, like, he's talking to his son about his addiction. He's just like, I don't know what to do anymore, son. I love you. And, like, Fox plays it like it's supposed to be, like, humiliating for, like, Joe Biden. And everybody who's like, well, everybody who's sane. Not the guy in the bar that you met. I'm sure he's not supportive. But everybody who is sane is like, that sounds like a very loving dad.
It's sad. It's fucking sad.
Plus, that's a dad who lost a wife and a child when he was young. They were in a car accident. Do you know about that? Then he lost another son. You know what I mean?
Brain cancer, right?
This is a father who was a war hero, by the way, that son who died of brain cancer. You know, he went to fucking fight, like, after 9/11. He didn't have to. He was like the fucking son of a senator.
Yeah.
So
was he in a helicopter? Was Fortunate Son playing?
to mock Biden is just like, I mean, what are you doing?
And
you want to talk about, like, un-American, you know what I mean? Like, that's un-American.
Yeah, and then they made fun of his speech impediments. Well, because the previous president, it would be right to go, and you got Biden go, duh, 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 and everybody laughs and cheers and fucking shows up with pitchforks.
Yo, he came out, like, the day that he announced he was running for president. He made, like, racial, like fucking statements against, like, Mexicans.
Yeah. Well, they are bringing drugs. They're bringing rapes. They're bringing... Yes, because that's exactly what people that want to keep a low profile do. They go out and commit a lot of crimes. Fucking idiot.
Yeah. But it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like, facts didn't matter. It wasn't about the facts. It was...
So to answer your question, though, I don't know if I'd have the same reaction to Hunter Biden because what the event he was commenting on actually happened. So now if Hunter Biden did get ass cancer of the brain, like you said,
yeah,
and he said something about it, I might get the same reaction. Yeah. Like, don't fucking wish that shit on people, man. Yeah. Considering he didn't do nothing to you, and you don't even know if he did anything wrong. Oh, what about the $10 million he got from Ukraine? I'm like, what is that? Does anybody know about this? What's going on with that?
Well, that prompt served its purpose anyway because, like, over the course of that conversation, I did have a chance to look up the definition of Deuteronomy.
Right, let's hear it.
There really is none. It just says the 5th book of the Old Testament.
So I wonder if Deuteronomy it's been retranslated so many times. It's probably a word that had a meaning.
I don't know.
I don't know. If anybody knows out there,
Yeah.
Because all the people out there are really fucking biblical scholars listening to this thing. You know all about the fucking Bible.
You think like biblical scholars are using us as references in like their papers?
Wikipedia and LibelTheBible.com.
Yeah, I cannot wait until like Rusty comes up as a citation in like some kind of journal,
That should be your goal,
Yeah,
man.
that'll be good.
Yeah.
All right. So, Deuteronomy 6, the Great Commandment.
Yep.
So basically, Moses is still talking to like the people, and he says to them, I mean, I'm paraphrasing, if you want to live and you want your kids to live, be afraid of Yahweh.
So that was the Great Commandment. Be afraid.
Be afraid of
afraid.
Yahweh. Yes. A healthy fear of what he can do should be like a good reminder not to fuck around. You know what I mean? Like, always keep in mind what he can do.
A healthy fear. I like that. Do you remember the commercial with the pills?
No.
It's like a bunch of Muppet pills, and they're like, this is serious.
I don't remember.
You should have a healthy fear of us. Too much of us is dangerous.
It was an anti-drug commercial?
Yeah, it was anti prescription, like don't like leave your
Yeah,
prescription
I
drugs
get
away.
it. No, I understand.
And telling kids like what words like
What?
even though we look so fine and dandy, we're not candy.
Yeah.
Something like that.
I don't remember that commercial. Yeah, so a healthy fear. But not like of drugs, but like of a homicidal maniac. Yeah. Like if you step out of line,
Yeah. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your might. That sounds fucking exhausting.
Yeah.
I'm going to read that again, Russ.
Go ahead.
You need to love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your might.
Yeah.
That sounds like a full-time job.
Yeah. So listen to this. So he also says, so that your children and your children and your children's children may fear the Lord your God all the days of your life, and keep all his decrees and his commandments that I am commanding you, so that your days may be long. Hear therefore, O Israel, and observe them diligently, so that it may go well with you, and so that you may multiply greatly in a land flowing with milk and honey. He's like, yo, if you want your kids to live and their kids to live, just be in step with everything that fucking Yahweh wants. Yo, everything will be cool. You'll have like what you need.
It'll be easy if
don't
you just follow
fuck around, please. He's like begging them, don't fuck around. Yeah.
Keep these words that I am commanding you, say, in your heart. Recite them to your children and talk about them when you are at home and when you are away, when you lie down and when you rise. So you're talking about God 24/7.
Yo, make sure you let Yahweh know you love him, because if you don't, fucking, if you need to remind yourself, like write a note, like fucking, tie like a rope around, right? Like tattoo yourself. Well, no, you can't tattoo yourself, fucking Leviticus.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
right,
no,
right.
don't tattoo yourself.
I have a post note on my door for when I go to work. It says, turn the heat down. Like, they probably have to say, tell Yahweh I love them.
Do you pay attention to that post, or is it like completely ignored?
It's freaking wrinkled and shriveled and like I think fell off, and I think I put tape to hold it on.
I think like Post-its, like when you posted something to yourself, after a certain point, you just like start ignoring it. Like if it was important, you'd get that shit done. You wouldn't need to like put a Post-it up.
That's why if you think about the first porn you watched compared to what you have to watch now to get off, like you're not dealing with the straight missionary porn anymore. It's hanging from a helicopter by your testicles with a cheese grater.
Right. Well, that's a problem. That was one of the things that I made a joke about in my biblical reading of Genesis 3. It was like,
That's
oh
weird.
no, in my script. Oh shit. Should I give you a sneak preview of my script for Noah's Ark?
Sure.
So like one of the like bits, I guess, is that like, God's disgusted with like the planet. Like, look at these filthy animals. I'm going to fucking kill everyone.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Who created those animals?
So like in 1,000 years, well, Cain created these animals. So in 1,000 years, they went from like Adam and Eve being like hee, like missionary sex to like this debauchery. So God was like, oh my God, if it took 1,000 years to get from there to like, all these positions and this and that, what's it going to be like in another like 1,000 years?
Crazy.
And then I make like a joke about like, something that actually is happening like today. But I'm going to leave that for the fucking...
So this content's going to be freely available to everybody? You said the first 4 episodes you're going to make freely
The content
available?
that I'm talking about now will not be freely available to everybody.
Oh. So what are
It
we
hasn't
about to
been
do?
recorded yet, but it's been written. It's been scripted.
Oh.
It's
So it's more than just in your head.
It's
on
Genesis
paper.
6. It's the script for Genesis 6.
Nice.
Because Genesis 5 is that stupid like genealogy.
Oh,
It goes from Adam to fucking, then he lived for 130 years. And he gave birth to Seth, and then Seth fucking...
How long is that episode going to be? Did you even write a script for that?
I do have a script for that.
How long do you think it's going to be?
I got some shit for that. It's not going to be long. It might be like a 2-minute episode, but that's what they get. I ain't write the Bible. I'm just interpreting it for them.
That's right. Just throwing it out there.
That's it.
Well, and what's it called? The Libel the Bible Bible?
The Libel the Bible Bible.
So, what I was thinking was, you're keeping the notes. And I was thinking we actually publish
The script.
Script.
Yes.
Right.
They're not notes. It's a script.
Sure. Can that script be put into paper and read like a Bible, like on the subway, like people can open it up?
We have the technology to do that.
I mean, are you writing it in such a way where we could do that?
Am I writing it in a way that we could publish it?
Yeah, like it would make sense.
I mean,
it's
in a document, like it's in a digital document form. Why wouldn't we be able to publish
I know
it?
we can publish anything, but
Right.
would it make sense to publish it the way you're writing it? Like if someone wanted to sit down and read our version of the Bible, like they would read the King James version.
Well, the words, yes, but I don't know how detailed you're talking about, like the font and the style and like.
All right, we're working on it. All right, well, let me get to my point.
Go ahead.
I think when this is all done, we have a thing where we give back to our good customers. We will publish copies of the Libel the Bible Bible version, something, right?
What we should really start doing is every time we like stay at a hotel, like fucking leave a
that's where I'm
copy of
going.
the Libel.
That's
the
where I'm
Bible.
going, and we have a thing. People can say to us, "Send me like 5 copies. I'm going on vacation."
Yes, perfect.
And they have to take pictures of them, basically replacing the Bible in the hotel room with our Bible.
Yes.
And then maybe they can send them to our post office box.
Yes.
And then we have a Bible burning.
Yes.
At the end of the year.
Let's do that.
So not only are we committing the crime of stealing, we're going to burn the property we steal. All names will be kept fucking confidential, though.
Let me tell you this. Let's not steal the other Bible, but let's additionally have people put our Bible in the fucking drawer. I guarantee you our Bible will be read more, or at least leafed through, more than the fucking real Bible will be. Because nobody gives a fuck about the Bible in hotel rooms.
That's true.
Only the Gideons.
The Gideons?
They're the ones that fucking leave those things. Don't you ever look like when you open it up?
Yeah,
When you
yeah,
gotta
I
roll like a
forgot,
joint
yeah.
and you don't have papers on you, you don't feel like running out to the gas station. You like rip off like a page of the Bible and you fucking...
You smoked the Bible?
What?
You've smoked the Bible?
I'm just saying,
It could be
like,
done.
you've
It could be
never
done.
been in a situation...
I find a piece of tinfoil and a Coke bottle and a straw. And
I've smoked from a shower head. Me and Mike were in New Orleans, and we didn't have a pipe, and we fucking unscrewed the shower head in the bathroom of our motel room and fucking used that to smoke. It was awesome.
I'm hearing Mike's laughter in my head, like how he would be laughing about that. Wow, you're like a junkie, man. Smoking shower heads. That's nasty.
Yeah, man, we were getting stoned on marijuana, which is like legal everywhere now.
Yeah, not at the time it wasn't.
Did I send you that TikTok of Eric Adams, like with the press conference, and he's smelling the weed?
You did. I didn't watch it, man.
Oh,
It's been a busy week. I'm catching up on all my stuff.
It's hilarious. It's so great. He's so awkward. He doesn't know what to do.
Yeah. So what does Yahweh mean when Moses say when he goes, bind them as a sign on your hand,
and in the darkness, bind them.
Fix them as an emblem on your forehead, and write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates.
Where are you? Like, what's the number?
Back up to, it's 6-8.
6-8. So I'm going to scroll to 6-8 because I got a computer opened up in front of me. All right. So bind them as a sign. So this is what he's saying. He's saying, people, do everything that it takes to make sure you fucking remember what God wants you to do all the time. Whatever it takes. Like, if you got to, like, bind some shit to your hand to make you remember, if you got to, like, come up with symbols for you to remember. That's what I'm saying when I said, like, fucking, you know, write a note to yourself.
So
like,
bind them as a sign on your hand. Could be a string around your finger. Fix them as an emblem on your forehead. Don't.
Like, it could be like a yarmulke or, like, you know, the peselas or, like, whatever. I don't know.
Emblem on your forehead. Don't some religions, what's the religion that puts the mark on their forehead?
On Ash Wednesday, they put the cross.
No, I was talking about,
Hindus?
Hindus, thank you.
Yes.
Like, that's not...
I don't know.
Is that related to this at all?
I don't know. It's not related to this because this is Judaism and that's Hinduism.
All right, so that didn't stem from any of this?
No, it's completely different. Yeah.
Write them on the doorpost of your house. Jewish people have that little thing on the door frame, right?
A mezuzah.
You know, when I first started seeing that, and I was going to people's houses because, you know, legally, because, you know, it's my job to go
when you
to
started breaking into, like, putting a cross and burning it in their living room.
The first couple of times I saw that thing on the door, you know, it's on an angle, right? So it's not like straight up and down or left and right. It's like on a weird diagonal. While I was waiting for them to come to the door, I'd play with it and see, why isn't this not straight? Like, do they realize this is fucked up?
Yeah.
And someone told me that's exactly how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, I don't even know, like, what the rules for that are.
Is that something supposed to touch when you walk in?
You like kiss your hand and then you touch it.
Oh, okay. And if you're real into it, you just throw your tongue right on it?
I mean, honestly, I don't know. Yes, if you're real into it, you throw your tongue on it. Because you know how much Yahweh loved just like random people slobbering all over him. This guy was a fucking neat freak, man.
Yes.
You had to be. It was like Silkwood getting near him.
And on your gates.
Anyone who's like over 50 will get that reference.
Yeah, I just turned 50, so I don't know what Silkwood is, actually.
Silkwood was like a very famous movie with Meryl Streep where she was like in a nuclear reactor. She plays like a whistleblower. And there's like a famous scene where she's like in the shower. And it's like after like she's worked in the nuclear. It's like, you know, like a nuclear plant like shower, right? So
yeah, because that's gonna stop the cancer. You're gonna wash that cancer right off.
Well, in fairness, they also thought that going underneath a wood desk at school would prevent you from dying during a nuclear apocalypse.
It's possible. I mean, listen, you're gonna have a better chance than the person who's not underneath the desk.
Well, you know what's gonna happen? When the nuclear blast sends that fucking first wave through and the windows get like knocked out, all those things are going to slice right the fuck through you.
Oh, so now we should ban fucking windows?
Yes. Yeah, all I am saying is give peace a chance.
Yeah. That brings us to...
It's about time somebody said it, Scott, and I'm not afraid to be the first one to say it. I'm not. Are you afraid? Are you afraid to want peace? I'm not. I don't care who knows it.
You're fucking crazy, you know. People are going to know who you are eventually, man.
Yeah.
And this is going to come back and haunt you when you run for office.
Yeah. I just want everyone to get along.
How boring
Why
would it be?
can't we all just get along, Scott? How come nobody has ever said that? I can't believe no one's ever thought of that.
You know, probably somebody did, and then they got involved with some chick that the rest of the group didn't like and get along with, and then they had to leave. They had to break up the group or something. We're talking about the Beatles, right? That's Paul what the hell's his name? John Lennon?
John Lennon.
Yeah. I heard Yoko Ono didn't really break up the band. Is that true?
That's a timely reference, Scott. Yes, let's waste time talking about the Beatles breaking up, Scott.
You know John Lennon's dead, right? You remember where you were that day?
Oh, shit. That's good. All right, so let's move on
to
caution
6:10.
against disobedience. Explain that, Scott. What's caution against disobedience?
It's just once again another fucking paragraph or so devoted to listen to this guy or you're gonna die. It's so. This has got to be the most repeated thing in the Bible so far, right?
Yeah.
Like you're gonna die if you don't fucking listen
Yeah.
to Yahweh.
Yeah.
It's getting old.
So, like, what's Moses telling the fine young citizens of Israel?
I think it's I just have the headline. I don't know.
You got to figure, by the way. I'm sorry. You got to figure this is like a fraternity or something, or like a college. Like these are all like young, relatively young kids because it's like the newer generation because they've been wandering the desert for 40 years. But like they were already like a decade in when Yahweh decided fuck all you. Then he decided fuck all you too. You know what I mean? Like he doomed like 2 generations.
Yeah. Okay. So it starts off with he wants to remind you why you are where you are.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, like I got you here. Don't forget it. So he
And
says
when he says that, by the way, he means like, yo, when you get into all this land and you're like chilling on your fucking sofa and you're watching like your big screen TV, you know what I mean? And fucking your wife is cooking up some shit like in the fucking convection oven that fucking you got. Don't forget like who made all that shit possible.
So you think that's the order of things?
No,
the guy should be watching his big screen TV while his wife's cooking? That's how things should be?
I'm saying that's what Moses is telling the fucking Israelites.
Right. So I want to make sure you weren't just
No,
projecting
I
your own
do
feelings.
not condone the boorish views of a fucking Stone Age patriarch. I just want to get that out there.
Okay. It's fine.
Listen, there's some
I'll find a way to
things.
unravel
There's some
that.
things Moses got done. Don't get me wrong.
So
Crime was down.
everybody was locked in their fucking house though, because pestilence. So I'm gonna read what you paraphrased.
Okay.
When the Lord your God has brought you into the land that he swore to your ancestors, to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob to give you, a land with fine, large cities that you did not build, houses filled with all sorts of goods that you did not fill, hewn cisterns that you did not hew,
Oh, shit.
vineyards
That's the
and
best.
olive groves that you did not plant, and when you have eaten your fill, take care that you do not forget the Lord who brought you out of the land of Egypt and out of the house of slavery. The Lord your God you shall fear, him you shall serve, and by his name alone you shall swear. He basically...
Do not follow other gods, he continues. Any of the gods of the peoples who are all around you, because the Lord your God who is present with you is a jealous God. The anger of the Lord your God would be kindled against you, and he would destroy you from the face of the earth.
So I'm going to ask this question. He's pointing out that you're taking all this shit that wasn't yours.
Yeah.
You just moved into people's houses. You didn't gut them. You didn't throw everything out. You just fucking slid right in. How? And I'm sorry if this offends anybody 6,000 years later. How can you think that you're cool? You're a cool people doing this. The people that were in this land didn't do dick to you. They didn't even hear of you until they heard the slaughter that you were bringing with you.
I mean, they've been indoctrinated their whole lives. Like, they've been living in the wilderness, their entire lives, hearing these stories about Yahweh. So they're ready to go.
I'm just wondering, how did these people justify it to themselves? Because never once did I hear...
I'm sorry. Hold on 1 second. My bad. Let's fucking pause for a second.
The recording?
No, not the recording. Here's how they can justify themselves. Because every single population that existed or exists in this time period did it through these means.
Wait a minute. That's speculation completely on your part.
Every large empire was built by takeover.
Oh, so you're saying they're just products of their time?
Well, it seems, no, what I'm saying is they are no worse than anyone else at that time And I just want to point out that we shouldn't separate what they're doing as like a separate thing from what anyone else was doing, and say what they're doing is like an what do you call it? An aberration for what is happening.
But staying within the context of this book, I have not heard of any other people doing this to get their lands and their houses.
Right, but you can't in reality separate yourself and your even rudimentary for you knowledge of like human history. You can't separate that, you know what I mean, and pretend like that doesn't exist in the context of the book. The book still exists in the context of like what you know about history.
Okay. Fair enough.
I think it would be a more fun show if you like approached it like that instead of like
you're not changing me, man. I bring what I bring.
Instead of I hate that word, compartmentalizing.
Yeah, it's a C word, man. It's hard.
No, there's a C word, but you can't say it anymore.
Which one?
Because everyone's the C word, man.
The actual C word.
That's like the czar bomb of fucking words, man.
Do you spell czar with a C or a T?
Either way. Well, in Russian, it's with a Z.
Oh, yeah? What's that translate to in American?
That's why some people do it with a C.
Well, I'm just going to point out that I have seen nothing in this Bible that has, when Yahweh tells you're going to go kill the Agonites, the Stalactites, all them ites, never once did I hear it because they're evil people. They
have the land.
They have the land.
We
and
want
they have
those resources.
And God forbid you like just assimilate into a culture.
Well, they also believe in the wrong gods too. They don't believe in Yahweh. They believe in those other gods.
Okay, that might justify it at the time, because nobody ever does anything based on the wrong God these days.
Mm.
So I just wanted to point out that these are home invaders.
Okay.
And then he says,
"Don't test them." He says, "Like, don't test fucking God.
Do not put the Lord your God to the test as you tested him at Massa." Which one? Do you remember which event?
I don't even remember which one that was.
You must diligently keep the commandments.
Maybe Massa
of the
was that time that like God gave Moses instructions, but Moses like ignored him and then went down and like popped off to the people about like I'm gonna get like water from this rock, and that's when God like stewed for 2 weeks and then told Moses like 2 weeks later, oh by the way, because of that little stunt you pulled back there when you went all rogue, you're not getting into fucking the promised land. So maybe that was Massa.
Thrusting out all your enemies from before you, as the Lord has promised. Then he thinks that when your children ask,
Mom and Dad, why do we fucking follow like these rules?
Well, Bobby, we were Pharaoh's slaves in Egypt, but the Lord brought us out of Egypt with a mighty hand. Oh, because Tommy down the street says no, his grandparents didn't own slaves. So are we sure this story's true? We were Pharaoh's slaves in Egypt, but the Lord brought us out of Egypt with a mighty hand. The Lord displayed before our eyes great in order to bring us in. Great and awesome signs and wonders against Egypt, against Pharaoh and all his household.
I mean, listen, he's explaining if anyone ever questions why they are like performing these rituals and following these rules, and sacrificing basically like a lot of what life has to offer in the region, just explain to them that this maniac that's like up in the sky will come down and fuck you up like he did the Egyptians. Don't fucking cross him.
Well, they end it with, as they're tucking little Bobby into bed, if we diligently observe this entire commandment before the Lord our God, as he has commanded us, we will be in the right. And that's why people to this day, when you try to have a discussion about it, but it says in the Bible.
It's in the Bible.
Yeah, but that's a circular fucking, like, who the fuck
Well, it's in the
is?
Bible. Prove it. It's in the Bible.
It's in the Bible. All right.
Prove it.
So, yeah. All right.
All right. Well, that gets us to Deuteronomy 7. I love saying Deuteronomy. You know why. You know why I like saying Deuteronomy. Because it's like duty. Like, crap.
Every time I hear Deuteronomy, I actually think, like, I want to somehow work in, do the right thing, do the right.
No. For me, it's duty, man. It's duty. Dude. When I hear the word duty, it still makes me laugh.
So I make dad jokes, and you make, like, adolescent jokes.
Yes, I'm a child.
Can we get a third party in here that tells just regular adult jokes?
No, we don't need a third party. This is the chemistry. This is the chemistry.
All right.
This is the chemistry, by the way, we haven't mentioned.
What?
First of all, we haven't mentioned our Patreon, the fact that we have one, or maybe we have, but I'm going to mention it again. Go check it out, patreon.com/Libel The Bible. We've got 2 tiers as of now. I would definitely go check that out. And we are in the top 10% of podcasts in the world, according to Listen Notes. Listen Notes being the definitive podcast indexer.
You don't mean we're top 10% in South Africa in the cultural and religious division in the eastern part of the country?
As it were, no. What I do mean is that in the world of 3 million podcasts that Listen Notes has scraped, we are in the top 10% of people listening. And by the way,
any good podcasts?
We're back on the Apple charts.
We dropped off for a while?
I changed our genre to religion, and then I changed it back recently to comedy.
There's only one choice. You can't do multiple
through
choice.
Anchor. Anchor only allows, if we wrote our own RSS, then we can put in multiple genres and show up in multiple places.
All right, so now which genre are we?
I've reached out to Anchor. I've asked them about this, and they've said that presently you cannot. You can only choose from their drop-down genres. So this is a warning to Anchor. This is a podcast that is in the top 10%. Okay,
we can start controlling the narrative.
That's right. So what I am telling the head honchos at Anchor is, get your shit together and please let us fucking put more fucking genres.
Because you ain't the only RSS feed
you cannot keep us in a box, Anchor. We are ready to fucking fly.
Can you imagine the guy that lets us leave Anchor? He's gonna have his head handed to him at the next fucking meeting.
I'm getting worked up just thinking about it, man. I'm getting worked up.
Dude, did you not bring the problem to them?
I've got the email proof.
Right? And then you're probably gonna escalate it a little bit.
I kept the receipts, like they say.
As you have to. You're gonna escalate it and escalate it and escalate to the point where, dude, that's all the warnings you're gonna get. And when he's on crutches, walking down the street, and they say, "Hey, Joe, what happened? Remember Libel the Bible? Don't tell me you didn't listen to them. They gave you adequate warning." Nobody's going to feel bad for the guy.
I see. So...
But can we get back to this top 10%?
So should I yell at you now the way you yelled at the guy for wishing, death upon Nancy Pelosi's husband?
Whoa. Why? I didn't advocate violence.
Were you not insinuating that?
No, I'm just saying, I'm not saying what happened to you was right or wrong, but, you should have seen it coming. Fuck.
All right. Well, all that is a way to say that we're now on Deuteronomy 7.
You know what?
Yeah.
Next time we see that guy, I'm going to say, you were right. Nancy Pelosi's husband should get his ass kicked. Just like that guy at Anchor. and he'll be like, what?
And then tell him the whole situation.
Tell him the whole situation.
The whole situation. So we're a top 10% podcast now. Check out our Patreon. You get exclusive access to, after this show, we record an after show.
I feel like we talked about this.
I'm going to do it again. I'm going to keep doing it until
I'm going
to do it until no one's listening. All right? Go to our Patreon. Apparently, Scott, he doesn't care so much. All right? But I need this, people.
Yes.
All right, so my favorite part so far has been definitely writing the scripts of the Patreon, has been writing the scripts for the Libel the Bible Bible. I also love saying the Libel the Bible Bible.
Yeah, it falls right off the tongue.
It's like Peter Pumpkin Eater, which, by the way, I was playing Mad Libs with Noah the other day.
It's still around? That's awesome.
And I said Peter Pumpkin Eater, and he had never heard that. he started laughing for like 5 minutes. He couldn't stop, and he had this crazed like look in his eyes. Like it was like hysterical to him, that like term, Peter pumpkin.
Was that what he was thinking when he was carrying that pumpkin in that picture you showed me?
No,
because he had a crazy eyes.
No,
there
he
too.
did. He's very expressive.
Yeah. So
right.
Listen. In the same Peter vein, this is what you can tell him. So Noah, Pete and Repeat are on an ark. Pete falls out. Who's left?
Repeat.
Pete and Repeat are on an ark. Pete falls out. Who's left? And you see how many loops you go through before he catches what you're doing. You're still wondering what I'm doing, so he'll probably get it fast.
All right. So we digress. Let's get back to the Bible, Deuteronomy 7, a chosen people.
Yep.
Moses thinks it's important for everyone to know God did not choose you for your looks or your smarts. You know what I mean? Like, don't get it twisted, people. Like, you might be the chosen people, but it ain't because of, like, how you smell.
I'm thinking when we get through this, the reason you were chosen was because you're obviously influenceable.
Well, no. He says, he goes on, he's like, yo, he owes like a debt to Abraham and like, you know, Abraham's like son, and like he made a promise. And God's going to God pays his debts. He's like a Lannister, you know, like a Lannister always like keeps his debts or whatever, pays off his debts. That's Yahweh. Except Yahweh, he'll meander for 1,000 years or so before he actually fucking gets around to it. You know, we're to the point where none of the people that he actually made the fucking covenant with, those people are all fucking long dead. You know what I mean? These people have to be reminded of all those people. This is why you believe in Yahweh.
I think at the time he had to tell the first group of people what he needed to tell them to get him to do his bidding.
Abraham.
Yeah, and now
Isaac.
He's got to change. They got to change. He's got to change it along, and now they're at the fucking promised land. Like, now what are you promising us? Like, you're not promising us anything, so now he has to remind you why you're here.
Right.
Because he's not promising you anything else.
Well, now it's fear. Now, like, you got to obey him because, like, like,
when God clears the nations, clears away the nations, you must utterly destroy them. No intermarrying, burn their shit down. Like, it's worse than just taking over their land. Mm-hmm. They're talking about destroying everybody. Mm-hmm. Because, you know, the snares come up again. Because if you don't, you're going to be tempted by flesh or tempted by idols. And you're going to be... It's not a good look, man. I'm sorry. It's not a good look for these people.
I mean, he's xenophobic.
That's an interesting way of putting it.
Well, again, I think, remember, we asked the question, what separated the Levites, right, from the rest of the Israelites? And there may have been something in their particular DNA, right? Also, perhaps, he chose the Israelites as a people because as a whole, like there was something in their DNA, like not all of them could come close to him, but this is as close as they could come. So now he doesn't want them around other people whose like blood types and DNA are dangerous to him. Mm-hmm. So it might just be something practical.
I hope so. I actually hope so. I hope he's...
I don't want to be a Yahweh apologist.
That's my job.
But in fairness, you know, people could say, you know, Rusty, you don't really give the Bible a fair shot. You don't give Yahweh a fair chance. So I'm going to, you know, when I see it, I'm going to say perhaps in this case, it's for his own survival.
Mm. All right.
You know, he doesn't have time to explain it.
They wouldn't listen anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Stiff necks.
Yeah. So, brings us to 7:12.
Mm-hmm.
Blessings for obedience.
So, all right. This is Yahweh's love is totally unconditional if you meet a few conditions.
and pretty difficult conditions.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? Maybe we're being harsh. Maybe these conditions aren't so hard. It's basically like God's your wife or husband. He's just like, don't cheat on me, man. That's it. Just don't cheat on me. That's the grand commandment, right? The Great Commandment.
I guess, but I feel like that's just like one commandment, and there's like a lot of rules. Like we went through, like remember Leviticus? There's like a lot of rules in Leviticus. And
I honestly don't think.
And
Yahweh
Exodus too.
I don't think Yahweh gives a fuck about the Ten Commandments, unless the one that says
no it's just a way to keep them busy, distracted. While
the Great Commandment is the only one he really cares about.
Yeah, he just wants people to be afraid of him.
The Ten Commandments is for amongst you people.
Obey me. Don't fucking follow anybody else. Make sure fucking, you know what's what. Yeah, absolutely.
You know what? That's probably why he really hated Sodom and Gomorrah. He didn't care about the crazy sex. Except the people weren't like, oh, Lord, I'm coming. They were like, oh, Baal, I'm coming. That's what fucking drove him crazy.
Yeah. His ego.
Yeah, that's what it is, man. Yeah, so one of the blessings for obedience is all the wombs are open for business. Your females' wombs and all the livestock's wombs are open for business. Yeah. He is once again declaring he controls childbirth.
Right.
So, you know.
I mean, you never know. Like maybe he's
Supreme Court.
Maybe like he lessens up on the chemtrails that he's leaving in the sky. You know what I mean?
So there'll be no more illnesses. So he's going to keep all the wombs open, and there'll be no more illnesses.
He's going to stop poisoning the water wells.
Oh wait, so you're going to stop being
he probably,
the asshole?
he probably controls, like that's what he does on Sabbath when they're all hiding. He like comes down, he puts like a certain amount, just to keep them just sick enough. You know what I mean? That's like Munchausen by proxy.
Munchausen by proxy.
Yeah.
Why isn't it just good enough to be Munchausen?
I don't know, by proxy. Because the proxy is the person you're getting sick.
Okay, fine.
So I
don't really know who Munchausen was.
You're getting off by like fucking you're getting the Munchausen. You want the Munchausen, but you can't do the Munchausen to yourself.
Oh,
you need to do the Munchausen by proxy.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's also like a very important conversation where Moses tells them do not ever fucking like question military orders. Like if you're like commanded to like
that was in here.
Yeah, sure, it's all in here, man. It's all in here. All right, I'll read it. You want me to read it? You want me to read it? All right. Blah blah blah. You shall be the most.
No, give me a verse and chapter.
Let's say Deuteronomy 7 verse 17. The Lord will turn away from you every illness, all the dread disease of Egypt that you experienced, he will inflict on you. Oh, shit, I'm sorry. My bad. It's Deuteronomy 7:17. If you say to yourself, these nations are more numerous than I, how can I dispossess them? Do not be afraid of them. Just remember what the Lord your God did, blah, blah, blah. So he's telling them, like, don't question military orders. We know what we're doing. If we tell you to fucking attack, like, City A, don't worry, don't count heads. Just rush in and do what you're told.
I do like the part when he's like
Yahweh's got like some tricks up his sleeve, like fucking like hornets. He's got some hornets.
The Lord your God will send swarms of hornets against them until even the survivors and the fugitives are destroyed.
Yeah.
This going in and taking over somebody's land and like killing every last single breathing person. Yeah, this is bullshit.
It's great. It's great stuff. It's wacky stuff. I'm looking forward to writing the script for this for our the Libel the Bible Bible.
The images that God shall burn with the fire.
Here's the real question. We put it out as like books, right? So once like we get through Genesis, we release that. We release the book of Genesis. The Libel, the Bible, the book of Genesis.
Oh, right. And I'll burn like 20 CDs with it. Just kind of casually drop them on the subway.
Yeah, we'll do like we'll do DJing gigs at like the Tunnel and Palladium.
Maybe go to Asta Place while people get their haircut.
Oh my God.
We can sell the Libel the Bible tapes.
Yeah. Like that.
Do not bring an abhorrent thing into your house, or you'll be set apart for destruction like it. Are they talking about like some crack?
Wait, read that again. Where are you?
1726.
Yeah.
Do not bring an abhorrent thing into your house. Like Wendy down the block?
Yeah,
Don't
he's
bring her into your house.
well, yeah, yes. It's like, a fat chick and a moped, like how are they similar,
Fun to ride and
until someone sees you.
That's body shaming. Don't do that, man.
Well, this is where this comes from.
We don't do that shit on
That's
the
what
show.
abhorrent is.
All right. You must utterly detest and abhor it, for it is set apart for destruction. Damn, dude.
Set it apart.
Yeah.
Well, wait, what does that mean to set it apart for destruction? Like, what does that mean?
Maybe it's like the box of returns. Like it'll be on the floor like an open box model, and if it doesn't sell, eventually it just goes into the pallet and it gets incinerated.
It's
like
what?
Damaged goods.
I gotta tell you, I think you gotta read this like it's the U.S. Constitution. So here it is. Do not bring an abhorrent thing into your house. What that means is like, don't bring some stank ass fucking attitude from like those Zoroastrians fucking around here. You know what I mean? When the fucking Jehovah's come knocking on your fucking door, nah, you don't listen to any of that shit. Don't fall for any of that shit. Don't talk about any. You know what I mean? I think it's just anything that goes against like God. Don't bring that into your home.
I'm reading it from the bottom up, which is kind of silly, but it says, the images of their gods and shall burn with. Do not covet the silver or gold that is on them and take it for yourself, because you could be ensnared by it, for it is abhorrent to the Lord of your God. Do not bring an abhorrent thing into your house. Oh, okay. Basically saying, don't take their silver and gold. That's for me.
Yeah.
Right? It's the raw materials he needs. Like, you're chilling in their house watching their TV.
I don't think, did he ever ask for silver and gold?
Absolutely.
He did? Okay.
I mean,
I don't remember
for it.
I don't remember him ever asking for silver and gold. I know
they collected it all.
He needs it to build like
shit.
certain things, right, that he can like, or shit that like he uses to reside in that protects him.
You know what? I bet you this was edited down where when they were talking about getting all these resources to build the tabernacle and the altar and all that stuff, there was probably a chapter, and then I need 47 cubits of gold for the warp plasma relays and for the the transporter coils and everything. I bet that was all in there, and they're like, well, no, let's take that out.
Yeah. Or they were just like, who wants to read this bullshit?
Yeah,
we already did this with the Ark, you know?
Yeah, spaceship flies through space. Yeah, whatever. Let's build ourselves a fucking big tent.
Can you imagine if that's there, like, if, like, somewhere, like, buried, like, in the sand is, like, that book, like, that describes, like, his journey through the stars.
Yo, remember that Egyptian that Moses murdered? Maybe he had that book and he buried that shit in the sand, like you said, and they're going to find out someday.
It's all a cover-up, man.
Yeah.
It's bigger than JFK, man.
What's amazing is anybody reading this thing and believing this would like, that's ridiculous. But they'll believe any fucking QAnon conspiracy you throw at them. That they'll fucking believe. Oh,
yeah. Well, I mean, listen, in a way, you should thank them and be grateful for them because they're the reason that we started this entire journey, right?
Yeah. You had X, so we're gonna do 8?
Oh, I'm
tonight?
assuming we're not because I did not read it. Because once I read 6 and 7, I was like, oh, 6 and 7 is perfect. Yeah,
I read 8. I started reading 8, but I stopped like halfway through the first sentence because it's a warning not to forget God and prosperity. Like, didn't we just fucking do this?
Yeah,
it's every fucking chapter.
Well, again, remember this is Moses filibustering because when this is all over, right. He drops dead and they're in the promised land.
Yeah.
So he's going to talk.
Yeah.
And he's disgruntled and he's going to rail on and on and on. I'm surprised Yahweh hasn't like fucking given him a heart attack already.
You know, I'm just thinking if Moses was as diligent passing all this to these people and had done it himself, he'd be in good shape right now. Too little, too late, right?
Well, that's the point. He's like, don't make the mistakes that I've made, youngins. The sea was rough that day.
It's like, did Emperor Palpatine just become a pirate?
Well, the Red Sea, man. He parted the Red Sea. When we parted the Red Sea.
angry that day. What else? We got anything else for this episode?
I don't know, man. That's the kind of shit that we usually leave for our paying customers, you know? Like, we try to be funny during the show. Like that one time